Hi guys, and welcome to another video, and this video is the screams, and I think this is something that's a little bit interesting that maybe happened at the start of the week. Now, it's nothing that really involves me per se, but it's something that I kind of put myself to be involved with because of what I presumed might have been happening, etc. So I think it's quite interesting to say. So let's get into the story. So at the start of the week, I was kind of just here or just doing my normal shifts, etc. And I got out and me and the dog was doing a patrol. It was around about 10 o'clock in the evening, and me and the dog were just out and we was doing our patrols and that, and then we were sort of making our way back to the van, just going to play a little bit of ball before we got back into the van, etc. And as we was walking, there was a car that beeped its horn, and that's not out of the unusual. If a car beeps its horn, it's not something that I normally take much notice of. So a car beeped its horn. Absolutely fine. Carried on walking. And then as we was getting back to the van, probably about 12-15 seconds later, there was a scream that I can only describe as a movie scream. Now, whether I've been sheltered, whether I've been lucky, what, I don't know. But I've never heard someone scream this way before. I've seen girls where their boyfriends have been fighting at nightclubs. I've heard them kinds of screams. I've heard them on roller coasters. I've heard girls when they're having fun and they're just screaming for the fun of it, etc. I've never heard someone scream in this way, and it was kind of like a gargling scream, which is, or I put it as distress scream, but kind of like a gargling scream is probably how I would describe it. And like I say, I've never heard someone scream that way before. So there was one scream, and then about 3 seconds later, there was another scream. And then probably another 5-6 seconds later, there was a third scream. Now, these three screams were up above the height that I worked. So I couldn't really see what was going on. All I could do was hear. Them three screams over a probably, 10-second period, probably covered about 200 yards. So they wasn't walking. So they must have been travelling at some pace to do three screams in 10 seconds over sort of 200 yards, etc. And I was waiting for someone to start shouting help. Now, obviously, I'm on a site. Obviously, I'm locked within this site, etc. And stuff that happens outside this site is not really anything to do with me per se. But if someone starts screaming for help, etc., I feel like I have a duty to make a decision, or an educated decision on what I need to do, etc. And then three screams happened. And like I say, I've never heard a woman scream that way before. I'll put it down as like a horror movie scream, that kind of scream. So after them three screams, etc., it all went a little bit quiet. And probably for the next sort of 10-15 minutes, I stayed out on my site just doing some extra patrols. Not that I would be able to see anything that was kind of going on, but kind of just listening out to see if I heard anything more, see if I heard a car screeching off, see if I heard anyone screaming for help, if I heard any more screams, etc. And nothing sort of happened in them sort of 10-15 minutes, and it all went dead quiet. So I kind of left it for probably another 5 minutes, etc. And then I decided, like, what do I need to do? Now, obviously, I've got my patrol log. So in my patrol log, I wrote down everything that I kind of heard, sort of noticed, etc., and time-stamped it so that I could refer back to it, so that I could go, okay, I could look at my patrol record and say, right, this is what time I sent that patrol record, and I've time-stamped it in this record of what I heard, not what I perceived happened, but my feelings on it, so that I could go back to what I was thinking at that time. And when I looked at that, I was like, right, this is not a police matter. Now, to me, if I'd heard them screams when I was at home, I definitely would have gone out of the house to see what the hell was going on. The fact that I'm locked in a site, it's up above where I'm working, it's probably going to take me a good couple of minutes to be able to walk round. And like I say, by the time that would have happened, they was already gone. That's why I stayed out for a little bit longer. But if I was at home and I heard them screams, I would have gone outside to check what happened. So I looked at it, I was like, right, there's no point in ringing the police. there's no point in ringing 101, but I think it is a good idea to maybe report this, because there might be something that gets reported later, and they might be able to refer back to that and say, hold up, didn't we get a message from a security dog handler in this area that witnessed some screaming, etc., and a car beeping on the road, etc., just before it? Maybe we need to look into that a little bit more. So all I did is I went on to the 101, went on to their online service and filled out their form. And I can't remember what I put it down as, because they've got different categories for sort of different things, etc. I can't remember what category I put this in at. But basically I went in there and I said, look, I'm a security dog handler working at such and such. At such and such time, I heard a car beep its horn on such and such road. 15 seconds later, I heard a scream on such and such road that is connected to the car horn beep road by this junction. So I heard the car beep on such and such road. 15 seconds later, I heard a distressed scream from what I perceived to be a female. I had then heard two further screams as they was moving up the road. The three screams were over this certain duration, and the predicted length or distance between them was roughly 200 yards. So I tried to give the police what I think links the car horn to the woman screaming, where them two roads were, what direction the screams were moving in, because they was moving away from the car horn road, moving up the road away from that area. So I tried to give them what I heard, what distance them noises were made over, what direction they was moving in, and kind of my feelings on it. And I just said, look, this might be nothing, but it might be something that gets reported later. And I just wanted to log that in with the police. I've got a case number. Now, what have I been doing since then? I've been looking on sort of the police's Twitter, like the local police Twitter, maybe put in the town and seeing if anyone's talking about it on sort of Twitter, etc. And just keeping my eye out to if there's been any reports of a missing woman, an assault, or whatever it is around this area, because I've got an email from the police with my case number, and I've just kind of kept my ear out or had a look out to see if there's anything that's, like I say, an attack on a woman, a reported assault, a missing woman, etc., so that I would be able to ring the police and say, look, I've got this case or this report number. I sent this in on this day. I think it might be linked. And like I say, this is not too much to do with me. Had the woman been screaming for help, possibly I would have packed the van up, gone round and seen what was going on, and then judged whether I need to intervene or not. Do I think it was a fun scream? I don't actually think so. Like I say, I've heard women on roller coasters. I've heard women in fights. I've heard women when their other halves are fighting, etc. And I've never heard someone scream the way they had. So I think it's just something interesting to talk about. Let me know in the comment section below what you think that you would have done. Like I say, I didn't see anything. I'm presuming a link between the car and the screams because they were so close together. And let me know how you would have reported that, whether you would have phoned 999 straight away. I don't think it required that because, like I say, it was sort of like a 30-second incident that was happening that I couldn't see, that I could only hear. But then straight after that, it was radio silence. Absolute nothing was going on. So I don't think it was a 999 situation. Whether it was worth ringing 101 and just speaking to them, but I think trying to keep the phone lines free and doing it on their online report where you can sit there and fill the report out online, I think was probably the best way. So yeah, let me know what you think about that situation, how you feel like I dealt with it. I felt like I dealt with it quite well, and obviously I've been trying to follow up with keeping my eye out for local police reports, local news, just to see if anything gets reported, etc., just in case I can phone the police up and say, look, I reported this last week, it might be connected, etc. But yeah, in the comment section, let me know how you feel I dealt with that situation. Let me know how maybe you would have dealt with it, maybe you would have done anything different. And yeah, I think it's just something interesting to talk about, because look, as a security dog handler, obviously you deal with the stuff that comes on your site, but that doesn't mean that you're not a member of the public for stuff that happens outside your site. And there are still stuff that maybe you need reporting. And look, there may be times when you're working within a site where stuff is happening outside your site, and you need to make a judgment call to whether you need to get involved with that, whether that requires for you to get involved with that. What's the danger of you going and getting involved with that? Does that bring more danger to you? Is there anything that you can actually do, etc.? Like I say, if they were screaming for help, I'm pretty sure I would have loaded the van up, loaded the dog back up in the van, gone round just to have a look, see what was going on, see if I could help, etc. But they wasn't screaming for help. They was literally just screaming in a very movie scream kind of way. And yeah, let me know how you felt I dealt with that. Let me know if you would have done anything different. Subscribe down below for loads more videos. Thumbs up this video if you like it. That's not how I do this. How do I do this? If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe down below for loads more videos. If you like what I do and you want to help support what I do, down in the description is also my Patreon, where you can help me continue to do this. And as for now, I'll see you again next week. Cheers for watching. See you later. Bye.